Okay, great. Hi, my name's Lauren Cooney. I'm the Group Product Manager for the Microsoft Web Platform. And Mylon, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Mylon Thompson-Bukovic. I'm the Product Unit Manager for the IAS team.
Great. And we're here today to talk about the Microsoft Web Platform, the Web Platform Installer, and the Windows Web Application Gallery, which were announced yesterday during the keynote. So how many folks have heard of the Microsoft Web Platform? Raise your hand. Awesome. All right. Web Platform Installer? App Gallery? All right. I guess no one wants to sit in the front today, huh? Okay. So I'm going to just go through today what is the Microsoft Web Platform, really quickly, what we announced yesterday, so you guys are all familiar with it. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the vision of the web platform that Microsoft has. So the Microsoft Web Platform is a powerful set of tools, servers, and technologies optimized for building and hosting next-gen web applications. This also includes PHP, as we announced yesterday in the Platform Installer. So just to give you guys a little bit of a backdrop, for today's talk, the web ecosystem that we're looking at is constantly changing and evolving. Looking at the development ecosystem in terms of what developers want to do and how they want to build applications, we're seeing that they don't want to deal with high costs. They want low friction. There's more focus on building blocks rather than building applications from scratch. And applications that are in the ecosystem right now, such as WordPress, Drupal, Joomla, et cetera, these applications are now good enough for businesses, both large and small. So what is the Microsoft Web Platform? It's a software of choice when building web solutions or apps for your business, large or small. So whether you're looking to create your company's global web presence, you're building applications for your small business, or you're just getting started on the web, we've got the solutions for you. We service Fortune 500s and also millions of individuals as well. This is really a platform that's built to work with a customer in mind. So let's go into what we announced yesterday. We announced yesterday the Web Platform Installer 2.0 beta. And the big announcement with this is that we've included PHP now in our Platform Installer. The Platform Installer includes the tools that you need to get started, the servers you need to get started, and the technologies that you need to get started as well. And the Microsoft Web Platform Installer it's a simple discovery and install of the free web stack and app gallery web applications. So essentially now, instead of going to several different websites to get the different free web products from Microsoft, you can go to one site, microsoft.com/web. You can go download the Platform Installer. You can get all the products running on your machine. So the next component here that I want to talk about is the application specifically. So yesterday we announced the Windows Web Application Gallery, which is a community hub for a variety of different community applications. Like I said, WordPress, Drupal, there's a bunch of different applications, DOS, Blog, .NET Nuke, open source PHP applications, and .NET applications that are included in the Windows Web Application Gallery. The really cool part of the Windows Web Application Gallery as well is that developers, individuals that have applications out there can now build their applications into the Windows Web Application Gallery, and Microsoft will distribute those applications to millions of Windows users worldwide. So it's a great opportunity for partners, customers, developers, individuals that want to gain access to developers. So I've only got 20 minutes, so I want to go through this a little bit quickly. And I want to also give time for Mylon to give a quick demo of what we announced yesterday. But in terms of the vision for the Microsoft Web Platform, I really kind of wanted to give you guys some idea of the thinking that went into this when we were actually kind of extending upon our web platform vision at Microsoft. So there's 4 pillars of the Microsoft Web Platform specifically that we think are absolutely critical when you're building a successful web platform. That's the community, the applications, the marketplace, and a one-stop shop. So the first pillar is an active community with growth potential. Essentially, developers and end users that are active participants in communities. They're using web products to create and extend their applications. They're building websites and other solutions, e-commerce solutions, digital marketing. And they're donating their knowledge back to the ecosystem. So when I say an active community, this is what I mean. Going on to the next pillar, many, many great applications. Like I said earlier, people like reuse. People like building blocks. People don't want to build things from scratch anymore, and they don't need to because there's these great applications out there to build them. So people want these apps. They want the code. They want the feature abstraction, so they don't have to build everything from the bottom up. They can just download the apps or the turnkey solutions from their business and run. The third pillar, a thriving marketplace. And this is something that we really kind of announced part of yesterday when we announced the Windows Web Application Gallery. So when I talk about a marketplace, I essentially talk about I want to talk about a couple different things. I want to talk about marketing and distribution specifically. So we have developers and partners who want to build and or customize their applications. Before, these developers never had a customer or a customer distribution pipeline. They weren't able to market these applications. Essentially, what we have launched with the Windows Web Application Gallery is this marketing and distribution pipeline. So if a developer has a great application that they want to have several, they want to include in the app gallery, we will market that worldwide. So they have the reach that they need that they never had before. The next component here that I want to talk about is a one-stop shop. So essentially a full end-to-end solution that we have for the Microsoft Web Platform. And this is really kind of the cornerstone of vision. We think that developers come in and they want one location where they can do everything. So we want to provide developers with a location to build, sell, download, and deploy their applications all in one secure environment with lots of different options for tooling, languages, and growth. So those together are the four pillars that really provide a successful web platform, and those are the components of the vision for the Microsoft Web Platform. So Milan, do you want to do a quick demo?
Thanks, Lauren.
I know that was a really quick run through, but I wanted to get to the demo piece. So 20 minutes is pretty short.
So one of the things that Lauren was talking about is the launch of the Web Application Gallery. Hang on, let me just get the connection to work. And what we did with the launch of the Web Application Gallery is we went out, we talked with all these different open source customers, and we worked with them over the course of the last 3 to 4 weeks to get them to do what we call web deploy integration. So what I want to demo now is basically our integration point. Hang on just 2 seconds. Can you hook this demo machine up? This isn't...
Sound?
No, it's not. Is we contacted these open source application communities, and they were PHP and ASP.NET. And when we came to them and we said, hey, we're going to come up with this idea of a web application gallery where people can come and discover your application, and you can download it, and users can just get up and running with a website easily, they were excited about that, but they were also a little worried. Because in the open source community, they got a good thing going on. They got applications that work. They have a user base that loves their applications. They have a developer community that builds just dozens and dozens of extensions. Has anyone in the audience gone and checked out the WordPress plugins? You can raise your hand if you have. It's a really rich library. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to know that any kind of integration that they had to get the benefits, all the benefits that Lauren was talking about, they could preserve their existing communities and their existing essentially development and user connection that they've already spent years establishing in the case of WordPress and Drupal and some of the more established communities. So what we did is we came up with a way for them to integrate very easily using something called Web Deployment Integration. And Web Deployment Tool, which is something that the IIS team builds, basically lets them put together a set of XML files, very small XML files that are manifest files, that what a developer would do is add to an existing zip package. So I'm not talking about an MSI, I'm talking about a zip package that you would just add these XML files to, and what the XML files do is they allow IIS to unpack the zip package onto the server and just let it run from there. Now our goal here is to make sure that we didn't get in between the application and its functionality. So all the special sauce that we ask our developers to do to get into Web App Gallery is specifically around telling us, the IIS web server, this is an app, it's got a SQL script, I need to ask the user a couple questions to install, and then go through that process. So I'm going to walk you through how that looks right now. Thanks for the help. So if you go up to the Web App Gallery that Lauren was talking about, you can see up here that we have 10 of these applications now. They're ASP.NET as well as PHP applications. And you can scroll and view them by category, or you can just look at a list, or you can look at it by user slicing, like ratings, for example, and click Install. In this case, if I click Install, it's going to go ahead and launch the WordPress installation in my Web Platform Installer 2.0 beta. Now, Web Platform Installer 1.0 was all about the Microsoft Web Platform. So it targeted the developers who wanted to keep up and running with all the different parts of the web stack. So how many people in the room went to an ASP.NET session? Did you guys see anything about MVC? Maybe hear a little bit of buzz about MVC? Okay, so that's a great technology coming out of the ASP.NET group, and it's revving like crazy because it's built out of Codeplex, and they're iterating, and lots of people in Scott Guthrie's web world, we're all building stuff for free web download that's changing very rapidly. So this is the tool that you use to keep up to date with everything. We have a What's New tab that'll tell you all the latest technologies that are not on your machine and that you can go and download. We have the Web Platform tab, which now includes PHP, and if anyone's interested, it's PHP 5.2.9-1, so the latest released version of PHP is part of the web stack, and the applications. Because the Web Application Gallery and the Web Platform Installer all use the same Atom feed, so all of the applications, when they're accepted into the Web Application Gallery, go into an Atom feed, which is then consumed by the Web Platform Installer, Web Application Gallery, participating hoster vendor, hosting control panels. It makes the installation process the same and consistent across all those different entry points. So if you take a look here, I already have a bunch of stuff installed on this machine, as you might imagine, with my demo machine. But if I did not have certain components installed on this computer, so let's just take a Windows Server 2008 SP1 clean machine. If I did the same demo on that machine, I would install 17 components that if I was doing manually, I might not even know I had to install. Because that set of components is a combination of PHP, it's a combination of an inbox Windows optional feature of IIS that you have to go dig out of Control Panel, and it's web downloads for IIS that we ship on the web. So what this does is it brings it all together, it knows what your machine environment is, and it knows what these applications want, and it pulls it through for you. So that very powerful pull-through effect is something that's really important for the Microsoft Web Platform. It's making sure that the most popular community applications out there can just run on the Microsoft Web Platform. So I'm just going to go ahead and accept this. I don't know if you noticed, but this is pulling PHP down from a public URL. It's pulling it down from the PHP download site. And in fact, that is our model for Web Installer, Platform Installer, as well as the Web App Gallery. We are not snapshotting code. We are not storing custom applications on Microsoft servers somewhere. We are going and taking the URL that we are getting from our application communities, and we're pulling down the zip package that lives at that community and using it. That means that the manifest files that you're seeing being used for IIS today are checked into the open source community trees. And that's a really interesting thing. That is the Microsoft Web Platform integration components living in open source and maintained by open source. And that, I think, is kind of a revolutionary thing that we're doing with the web platform today. So I have to tell you, we are doing an install here. We don't do anything to speed it up. It's still going to take a little bit of time if you're installing a set of different components. What we do is we handle things like reboots, we handle failures, we handle rollbacks, and we also make it really clear about what you have to install in order to get an application up and running. So that in itself is pretty useful, but I always say that, sometimes I think about piping music in the background. Somebody can whistle if you want to. But this is just going ahead and laying that down. Now, if we have a point of failure, what we do also, as you might imagine, since we're installing so many things, we log like crazy. So if there is a failure, you have log files, and you can go to a free forum for customer support that the IIS team manages, the product team manages, to ask your questions, get your log files, and participate with the community there. So here, what you see is basically the information that we need to know to set up WordPress. So this comes from a single file called a manifest.xml file that a community provides that tells us what the application path is. I'm just going to install this to localhost. In this case, WordPress uses MySQL, which we will support. So we create a new database. We don't actually install MySQL as part of Web Platform Installer. Right now I have MySQL pre-installed, so it's working right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in my super secret passwords, which you could probably guess. Sorry, I usually do this with a mouse. Now, everything you see on this screen, this is not from Microsoft. This is from the community. There's another parameters file called, or an XML file called parameters.xml, and everything you see on this screen is defined by the application community in the parameters file. This has been, it's actually been kind of funny because when you do a typo in parameters.xml, it shows up here. Right? So the communities define what the default text is, they define what these questions are, and basically all we're doing at this point is we're packaging up all of these parameters and we're handing it to WordPress. So we're not getting in between WordPress and its setup logic or its provisioning logic. We're just handing the parameters to WordPress so they can go ahead and launch an application now. So what you see right now was a very simple experience of starting at Web Application Gallery, getting WordPress, installing it through Web Platform Installer, pulling down any prerequisites. In this case, I didn't have the PHP framework installed to support it, configuring Fast CGI, because one of the things that happened as I installed it is that when the PHP component came down, it automatically was configured by IIS to work with our Fast CGI component, and then taking the application and laying it down. And there you have it. WordPress is installed on your IIS machine with a little bit of integration work that was done by the WordPress community in just a couple of weeks.
Very cool.
Thanks.
Great. We've got about 3 minutes left. We wanted to open it up for questions from the audience here. Do you guys have any questions? Yep.
So this is only for full applications. It's not for like plugins and things of that nature.
Now, at this point, we are providing this for full applications. If you go to is.net, we actually have something we call the Web Application Principles, Web Application Gallery Principles. It's up on the Application Gallery as well as is.net. And it talks about the set of criteria to follow to get into the Web Application Gallery. And one of them is to be a fully functional end-to-end application.
I think one of the initial comments was that this was the kind of place where you get the business
Yep.
used, but that doesn't sound like this.
No.
Well, I think one of the things, when I talked about the one-stop shop, like I said, those are the 4 pillars of the vision. I think that's what you're hitting on, correct? Yeah. One of the things that we are looking at are what kinds of components, what kinds of widgets, what kinds of skins, things that we could also include on there. Yesterday was one step in, in kind of delivering on this vision, and you're going to see more coming down the pipeline.
What we also see is people take the applications and then they customize it and then they deploy it to customer sites. We actually talk with a lot of folks who take WordPress and they deploy it for some small business. And so they sort of see the entire application as a building block because it's the place they start from and then they extend.
One of the things, too, that I just wanted to hit on, and let me just reverse this here. Milan hit on this really well, and I want to go back to this. My background is specifically worked with a lot of different open source communities. This is something that we really are working on to have this as a community-driven effort. So if you guys have feedback on things you would like to see, directions that you would like us to go, this is my email address. I'd love it if you guys could email me and let me know. Yes, Adam. What if you run it on a web hoster? Yes.
Hello? Yes, you can use it in a hosted environment. We're also working with control panel vendors, so both cPanel and .NET Panel have signed up to do the app integration. So those vendors will have baked-in support for being able to select apps from the web app gallery in a hoster control panel as well. So we're working on it on two fronts. One is the web platform installer tool, and then the other one is the hosting control panel vendor. Any other questions?
All right, great. Thanks, guys. We're going to hang out for a little bit if you have any other questions.